A local artist has created a sci-fi comic book in hopes of inspiring others.
That's right. And joining us now is Kentucky native Julian Thomas, the creator of Black Hart. Julian, it's so good to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, so you want to inspire others, but we want to know what inspired you to create this comic book, because that wasn't really your initial goal, right?
Yeah. So I've always had an inclination for the arts in general, especially anime, science fiction novels, this type of things. But throughout my younger years, the path that I took was music related. I made music, touring the country, doing all that type of stuff. So one time I was trying to figure out how to incorporate some of my other interests into the music that I was making. So I came up with this as a way to do a rollout for my album. And as I was creating the character, more and more details started coming together, and eventually I'm like, hey, this thing can stand alone on its own. Yeah. So I started taking that route.
Very cool.
And here you are, and successful, getting ready to come out with even a second edition too, right?
Yeah, this December, Chapter 2 comes out. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's some big stuff, and you're going to be talking more about that over at a special event coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be at Lexington Comic-Con. It officially starts today. Today's kind of like a preview night from 6 to 10 p.m. The big stuff going on is going to be tomorrow and on Saturday, and I'll be there at booth 1000.
It's like a big group of people that you're just going to instantly connect with. You know what I mean? Everybody, like-minded people. It's just so much fun, a great place to meet people. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Black Hart. You know, I think I read somewhere that it's a love story. I would pick up on that. I'm like, oh, is it? Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, so Black Heart, when you first see it and you see the trappings and the clothes, that's how I like to
it doesn't look like a love story on the front.
You wouldn't think that. You know, you see a guy with this big Final Fantasy-esque sword and that type of thing. You think there's going to be a lot of action and stuff, which there is. But the main plot point that drives the entire story is a man trying to rescue a woman that he has endangered, and now he has to make up for the mistakes that he has caused that led to this situation.
What an interesting story. And that's that love part that she's talking about right there.
So I know that, especially when I was making music, I found myself often in like, some relationships I may have been in, I found myself often tied between doing what I needed to do for the relationship and then doing what I needed to do to chase my ambition. So this story was like a way for me to channel that story and to let it be known sometimes you have to make difficult decisions, and the one that you want to make may not always be the right one.
I think a lot of people have been faced with that decision, in their lives at some point.
So true.
It really gets deep down in there.
And it doesn't change. I mean, that really doesn't change. You have to work on a relationship, and you have to work at what you want to do in life. So, finding that balance can be hard.
It can be very difficult. Now, you said you're an illustrator. You're on the phone with them how many times a day?
So my illustrator, Aggie Alcanedo, he actually lives in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like a 12-hour time difference. We get to talk once a day if we're lucky. So sometimes it's less often than that, but we've been working together for about 5 years now, and we have a pretty good system worked out.
I love it. Now tell us more about Comic-Con. What are you going to be doing? Did I see something about a workshop or something like that?
Okay, so I also teach in Louisville, Kentucky, where I live. I also teach a comic book creation workshop at Eastern High School. I've done some stuff with the Speed Art Museum. One of the big goals with Black Heart, besides just telling a great story, is pushing advocacy for literacy and writing amongst the youth. So I try to use this as a platform to work with the children. But at Comic-Con, I'll be set up at booth 1000. I'll be displaying my wares. There'll be a couple things that haven't been released yet.
You're a busy man.
That'll be there. It's a lot going on.
I love it. And I also love that you're trying to inspire these high schoolers. I bet they're all trying to get into that class. A comic book class in high school.
Especially with a rapper as well. I mean, he's got all these qualities that you want.
Cool for us.
Yes.
He's way too cool for us.
Right.
All right, so here's the information you need to know on your screen about Comic-Con. We're going to have more on that throughout the day, and I know you're going to have a great time, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a great time.
Of course.